People ask me what I do for a living. The answer to that is quite simple. I teach people how to win fights. That includes the professional fighters. And that also includes everybody else. Because remember, life is a fight. Whether that fight happens in a cage or a ring, or in your day-to-day, whatever you do, at work, at school, at play, life throws stuff at you. You need to rise to the occasion. So my job description is very simple. I train people to win fights. Helio Gracie said, "I do not train to win. I train not to lose." And if you watch his old fights, his old Vale Tudo matches, you can see that. Some of them he would spend 5 minutes on the bottom, side control with this guy on top of him. And in a no time limits fight, you have that luxury. It can go on and on and on, as they did back then. In modern fighting, we don't have that luxury. Rounds 5 minutes. If you spend 5 minutes on the bottom, you have lost that fight. So, for all the great innovations that Helio Gracie brought to the world of martial arts through Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I'm going to tell you that it's not enough to simply not lose. That's step number one. That's the theme of the white belt, if you will, to survive. When we start out and we don't know anything, we don't know any technique, we don't know how to get on top, we're fighting people outside of our experience level when we first show up to the gym, the best we can hope for is to survive. That's a good thing. It's a very important skill set. If you don't master the skill set of survival, forget about it. You will lose. So the very first thing we need to master is fighting to not lose. I had a student, this Chinese guy named Roy, fantastic guy. He's made tremendous progress over the years. He went from being a fat, out-of-shape guy who'd never done any sports, any athletics, any exercise, to being a lean, trim, athletic guy who's done over 20 amateur fights, boxing matches, Muay Thai, K1, MMA, Jiu-Jitsu, and he's won most of them. He's done really well. I'm very impressed with the guy. Can't say enough nice things about him. But when he started out, again, he got exhausted very quickly. He wasn't in very good shape. And every time he would roll with anybody, he'd have to tap out like 50 times. And there came a day where I was grappling with Roy, and he lasted 5 minutes on the mat without tapping out once. And he was just smiling, he had his arms up, he was celebrating. "Yes! Yes, I did it!" he said. I looked at him, smiling. I said, "What's going on there?" And he said, "I didn't tap out once. I survived." And he was celebrating that victory. That was awesome. That was great to see. And that's that first step. And he went on from simply surviving to thriving. And man, he scored so many knockouts so far in his amateur career. I keep asking him if he thinks about fighting pro, and he says, "Oh, no, I'm too old, I can't do that." But keeps doing the amateur fights. Fantastic guy. Now, that's step number one. Step number two is fighting to win. Sounds like it should be pretty obvious, right? But You'd be amazed how many people get in there without their mind really set on winning. Marcelo Garcia famously said, "It's not enough to want to win. You have to want to train to win." Those are different things. Everybody wants to win. In abstract sense in their mind, they have this fantasy about being a winner, being a champion, having their arms raised at the end. But not everybody wants to do what it takes. Not everybody wants to work, because it is a tremendous workload to be a champion. Okay? To do what it takes to win and win consistently when you're fighting somebody who is just as skilled as you are, who is just as athletic as you are, if not more. We have to want to do the work. Because if you don't want to do it, ultimately you'll find an excuse and you won't. So that's step number 2. Fight to win. But the third level, the most important, in my opinion, it's not enough to simply survive. It's not enough to simply fight to win. Number 3, fight to break your opponent. Now, I don't necessarily mean injure them, or maim them, or cripple them, or anything like that. I mean break them up here, break them right here. Break their will to continue. If you put the pressure on your opponent to the point where they realize, hey, this isn't fun anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be in this fight anymore. Get me out of here. Get me away from that guy. I have had enough. And you can see it in their eyes when you break your opponent. When they realize this guy is unrelenting. This guy will not stop. I'm going to have to kill this guy to win. I'm going to have to go farther than I am willing to stay in this fight, to hang with this guy. How many fights have you seen where afterward the fighter who lost didn't seem to believe that he lost? Where they interviewed him and he gave some excuses. Oh, well, it was, the judges had it wrong. Something like that. Sometimes people even get submitted, or they even get knocked out and they wake up and they're like, No, I didn't really lose. It was just because of this and this. Because they're not broken. They're beaten, but they're not broken. So you want to win, and win consistently at the highest level. You must break your opponent. As a fighter I trained, this girl named Megan from Australia. Fantastic work ethic. Megan, if you're watching, hi, all the way from China. And she was training for a boxing match, her first amateur boxing match. And she fought this other girl who was a skilled boxer, for the amount of time she put in at the amateur level. Girl named Rebecca, and Rebecca's technique, it looked good. Footwork looked good, punches looked nice and crisp, and she looked good. She looked ready for the match. The bell rung, Megan went in there. Put the pressure on. Followed instructions to the T, put the pressure on her. And poor Rebecca, she was broken within the first 30 seconds. Now she survived 3 rounds. It went to a decision, Megan won. But within 30 seconds, broken. I could see it in her eyes. I don't want to be here. This is harder than I thought. She's stronger than I thought. She is unrelenting. She will not quit. There's a certain glimmer of fear you can see. Fighting is savagery. It's the opposite of civilization. I often hear fight fans talk about, oh, that guy's cocky. I don't like his attitude. I don't like that fighter. He's too confident or too arrogant or whatever. But I'm going to tell you something. Fighting is not civilization. In civilization, again, if I walk around thinking and exuding the idea and the fact that I am better than you, objectively better than you, again, I come across as a horrible human being. However, in a fight, we have to. We have to exude this idea, I am objectively better than you at fighting. I am an objectively better athlete than you. I am unrelenting and you will break under the pressure that I put on you. That's a whole different thing. That's not arrogance, that is confidence. And we must have that confidence. You cannot go into a fight thinking, maybe. You cannot go into the fight having not envisioned the end from the beginning, having not envisioned your arm raised in victory. You cannot go into a fight like that and expect to win. You have to see it here. You have to see it here. You have to not just believe that you will win. You have to not just wish and hope and want to win. You have to know. You have to know that you are able and you are capable and that you will. Think of this. Our hands, how do they move? We think, we will it to move, and it moves. And there's so much about that physical process that we don't understand. I mean, we think we do because we take it for granted. But under combat stress, after fighting for several rounds, when we are tired and the muscles do not want to cooperate, and that little voice inside of us starts screaming, no, stop. It would be easier not to. Come on, give me a break. Guess what? That little voice is not yours. That little voice is not the voice of a champion. That little voice does not win fights. It does not own you. It does not control you. Shut it down. Shut it off. And listen to your own voice. That voice that already decided beforehand, I am not only going to survive, I am not only going to win, but I am going to break my opposition. And when you can do that, the win is the result. Invariably. We must do the work beforehand. We must log the hours. We must have the work ethic, the unbreakable work ethic. We must train unbroken, as I've spoken of before, in order to break all the opposition that stands in front of us.